Have you ever played a game that just made you want to frolic all around like Maria from The Sound of Music? The game that makes you stop in awe of the wondrous world in front of you? Well, I sure have. Games like Flair come to mind where it's a feast for the eyes, soul, and mind. So many emotions evoked from lush greenery to fields of flowers to quiet moments roaming in dimly lit caves. These are just a few examples of settings found in the world of Kena Bridge of Spirits. It was one of the earlier PS5 titles to catch my attention with its gorgeous visuals, simplistic but fun-looking combat, and cutscenes comparable to something you'd see from Pixar. There is a good explanation for that. While Kena is the debut game from studio Ember Lab, this isn't their first rodeo in the animation space. Forming in 2009 by brothers Mike and Josh Greer, Ember Lab began life as an animation and digital content studio according to their site. In 2016, the brothers and a host of other talented artists worked together to make the Majora's Mask Terrible Fate short film. Outside of some animated shorts for advertising, this was all they needed to show to get me excited for a movie or story-driven gaming experience. I left my jaw on the floor in awe of its sheer quality. Ember Lab's past efforts culminated in Kena Bridge of Spirits. You play as Kena, a young spirit guide on a quest to lead distressed souls from the physical realm back to the spirit realm. Along the way you meet Toshi, who is responsible for the corruption plaguing the land. It's up to Kena with the help of the ever-adorable Rot to heal the forlorn spirits as she treks to the sacred mountain shrine, dealing with her own inner strife in the process. Studio Ghibli seems to have strongly influenced Ember Lab in creating Kena Bridge of Spirits. Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind, and Spirited Away come to mind with the abundance of mystifying areas, a female lead, and its show-don't-tell approach to storytelling. Kena is a warm-hearted, empathetic character. You could tell that she genuinely cares for the spirits. The way Ember Lab expresses that care is through facial expression and body language. The spirits have passed on from flesh and blood, making Kena the only living character in this world. For each area of the game, they're your friends and help Kena by giving her advice towards her next objective. To complete this journey largely by herself speaks volumes of her character. Much of the game's fictional world actually has ties in reality. Many locations are based on actual places in Bali, which is part of Indonesia. I relish exploring the game's many beautiful locales and becoming fully immersed in its beauty. Luckily for the amateur photographer in me, the game features a photo mode with plenty of settings and filters to mess around with. Photo modes have been an industry standard feature in most titles, but Kena has been the only one to catch my attention. I'd take breaks from the story just to find awesome photo spots, spending minutes at a time to get the perfect shots. One of my personal favorites are areas in the forest leading up to Rusu's house. Beams of sunlight permeate through the trees onto stone steps with lanterns adorning the surrounding area. It's honestly also breathtaking to look at. Kena Bridge of Spirits has PS2 era title written all over it. That could be for better or worse depending on how you look at it. Kena's animations, from her movement to her combat capabilities, harken back to classic franchises such as Jak and Daxter and Sly Cooper. Luckily for me, I'm all about it. I found the combat rather simplistic but doesn't limit my fun factor. Collecting the Rot furthers Kena's skill tree with new abilities that enhance my options. For instance, you can infuse Kena's arrows with the power of the Rot to really send those distant enemies packing, infuse her staff to deliver a crushing blow that eats enemies' health, or bombs to stop them in their tracks for a moment. I had a lot of fun thinking of ways to use all my tools to take down the baddies, especially when getting a well-timed parry as it leads to massive damage. Besides enhancing your abilities, you can command the Rot much like you would Pikmin to perform tasks that Kena cannot. The Rot can pull levers, move platforms around so that Kena can access higher ground, and remove huge planks of wood so she can enter doorways. There are these blue orbs called forest tears that the Rot can use to return to their original form and clear corruption. There are usually goodies covered in corruption close to forest tier locations, so it's always a good idea to check the surroundings. Kena offers a challenge but never feels unfair. Anytime I died fell completely on me. Gotta say, the bosses got me more times than I'd like to admit. I had to rethink my approach and really study their attack patterns. The last few trials before reaching the mountain shrine were especially tough, as it should be. To this point I had conquered many a beast and faced my demons. It was time to put those skills to the test. As much fun as I had with the combat, it's not what struck my fancy. I even understand the gripes people have with it. Like I said, it feels like a PS2 game for better or worse. The gameplay certainly feels 20 years old, but doesn't deter this retro gaming enthusiast. The game is an entire vibe. Even hovering over its icon on the PS5 dashboard, a mysterious bamboo flute plays, creating an ethereal sound that invites my curiosity. There are meditation spots around the world that increases Kina's max health. These areas are straight eye candy. When Kina meditates, the camera pans all around her, cinematically showcasing the many serene landscapes. The quiet moments like these are some of my favorites. Kina's soundtrack is no slouch either. I may or may not have shed a few tears because of the game's stunning score. It was composed by Jason Galati in tandem with the Balinese ensemble group Gamelan Kudamani to create music that was respectful to the Balinese culture. An actual bamboo orchestra was used to capture the sounds of Bali for the game. I was not aware of Bali prior to playing Kina, but I now have a snapshot into their culture. Trap Spirit is my favorite track as it comes in somber and then gradually works its way to thunderous flutes that fill me with that sense of adventure. In the game's lighter moments, the music shifts to playful music just as it does in intense moments with a dynamic sound. The mystery and wonder of Kina Bridge of Spirits kept me coming back for more. I'd light some incense, get the LED lights just right, and become enraptured by its world. The more I explored, the more secrets and collectibles I uncovered. I would spend the entirety of a day playing just to find them all. Sprinkled across the world are treasure chests which contain various things from gems to rot hats and charm stones, with the latter being added as of update 2.02. Gems are only used to buy rot hats, which can be bought from rot carts. You must unlock them for purchase by first finding the hats in the chests across the map. You can outfit your rot with these adorable hats to give them that extra layer of cuteness. Charm stones give you perks like full health restore on parry, or dishing out extra damage with the downside of enemies being able to do the same. The extend combat potential gave me plenty of replayability in subsequent playthroughs. Ember Lab clearly know how to craft an engaging story. I was rooting for Kina the whole time and want to see this character make a return. I have nothing negative to say about Kina Bridge of Spirits. From beginning to end, I was hooked. I got such a warm, fuzzy feeling in the lighthearted aspects of the game, and felt the sorrow and coldness of the serious parts. It truly is a title that made me feel in such a different way. It is not the best game I ever played, but it certainly makes my list for one of my favorite games ever made. It's hard to express into words, honestly. Traversing this lush world with its popping greenery, mystical soundtrack, lovable heroine, and concise storytelling left me with a title I will remember for years to come.